Hi, so now we're going to go through some bony landmarks of the shoulder girdle. Now this is going to be helpful for you when you're trying to find certain muscles and muscle placements, because if you can find the bony landmark of the origin and insertion, then you can find the muscle that runs from it. So the shoulder girdle is like a C. So if you were to look at it down from above, it looks like a C, or what we'd say is an incomplete circle, because we don't have bony involvement across this way here. So starting with your client nice and relaxed. So we are going to find, first of all, you're going to find the shoulder blade, find the scapula, and then on the top you're going to find it's like an upside down V for all of the world. So this is the superior angle of the scapula. So this is where we have an attachment of the levator scapula from here. Now you can come down the medial border here, or often called the vertebral border as well, and it's from here that we would have attachments from the rhomboids and also of the mid to lower traps. Now if you're having difficulty finding these landmarks, or even just to try and wing the scapula to see it, you can ask the client just to take their hand to the lower back, raise up the head just a small bit, and you can see that the shoulder wings or it pops up a little bit. So sometimes this helps. So again, superior angle up here, come down the vertebral border, and then at the bottom you're going to come to an opposing angle here called the inferior angle. From here we have our teres major, teres minor come from here as well, we want to cross in this direction. Have our infraspinatus here, teres minor, teres major, supraspinatus across here, and then also we'd have the diamond shape, or what we call the kite shape of the traps. The upper traps, our mid traps, and our lower traps in this direction here. So from here, so you've found the inferior angle, and then you can come up on the inside. So to relax the hand there for me again. Coming up on the inside then, you're going to find the auxiliary border or the lateral border of the scapula. So again, this is helpful if you're trying to look for the lat tendon, because it runs in this direction here. So again, so if we come back up to the vertebral border, come across to the superior angle, you're going to find feels like a long protruding bone here. So we call this the spine of the scapula. If you run your fingers along the spine of the scapula, you'll find that it goes from this has an edge to it, and then suddenly it flattens out. And when it flattens out, it's called the acromion process. So this is one half of your AC joint, your acromion-clavicular joint. So this is it's often called the roof of the scapula as well. If you were to go further from the scapula, around here we have it's like the inside of the ball and socket joint. So it's the socket. So this is the fossa of the glenohumeral joint. So this is the glenoid fossa in here. The head of the humerus would attach in here then to make the ball and socket joint of the shoulder. So again, so we have the acromion process on the top, and if you go find the flat part of the acromion process, go a little bit further, you'll find the round edge of the distal end of the clavicle, and there'll be a little divide in between it. Not very, very tiny divide, because this is where you have a joint meeting. So you have the acromion process coming across here, you have the head of the clavicle here, and this is where they meet. So this is your AC joint, your acromion-clavicular joint. So, can you face the camera for me? So once you have found the AC joint here, so over here in the corner, so you found that round edge of the clavicle, then you can walk the clavicle down. You feel it's quite rounded here. So you can walk the clavicle down, be nice and gentle on the front with the client, and then you're going to find the proximal end of the clavicle here. If you go a little bit further, you find the flat bone of the sternum. So this is the sternoclavicular joint. You will find two little tendons running across here as well. So these are from the sternocleidomastoid. So it's got two heads there, and they join on just at the end of the clavicle here towards the sternoclavicular joint. So again, now if we follow that on the other side, so again we have the flat part of the sternum, we have the rounded proximal edge of the clavicle, sternoclavicular joint, walk the clavicle all the way back up here until we find the round edge of the distal end of the clavicle. We find the flatness of the acromion process. Keep walking across the acromion process, because now you're walking on the spine of the scapula. It has an edge to it. So again, facing into the chair for me. So from here, you're running across the spine of the scapula, and then you're going to find the superior angle again, as we said, attachment for the levator scapula. This will bring you down the vertebral, or the median edge of the vertebrae, the scapula. And then we're going to find the inferior angle of the scapula here again, as we said, teres major, teres minor from here, and up into the auxiliary border or the lateral border. Again, you have the tendon of the lats coming up this way. So this then is what we would call the shoulder girdle. We also have a pelvic girdle, but this would be the shoulder girdle. So when you're trying to find your muscles to work on, whether it is infraspinatus, supraspinatus, levator scapula, could be splenius capitis, could be the traps. When you find those bony landmarks, it is much easier then to find your muscles to do your work on them, to do your SGRs, do your METs or your fictions, whatever you need to work on. So again, get yourself somebody that you could practice with, find the bones of the area, find the muscle attachments, open up your muscle book at the same time, and that can help you as well. Okay, so just a little bit of practice with that one, find the bony landmarks to be able to find the muscles. Okay, I hope that's helped you for this afternoon. Okay, take care, bye bye.